Mr. Lopez,
Here.
Mr. Hennis, and Ms. Harrington. Here.
First up is board agenda review. Everybody's had a chance to kind of look at the board agenda. If there's anything we need to talk about, discuss, etc.
President Hennis, members of the governing board, just in this meeting, I want you to know, all of you will find a hard copy of a disposal item right here that was not part of the packet. I'm giving you a hard copy. It is now part of the packet. And so it's just when we get to that agenda, this is another disposal item. It has to do with our senior devices that the seniors have right now. It actually, when we bring those devices back, they run their life cycle, and it actually costs the district a lot of money to get rid of it. And so what we're wanting to do this year is to allow our seniors to buy them and take them home. It may get them off to start college, may do that, but for $10 they can keep it, and now we don't have to pay to get rid of it. So this was not on the disposal, so I gave you a hard copy. It is now part of the agenda when you get there.
I think that's been talked about for a while, hasn't it? Basically, if you live with it for 4 years, at the end of that time, it's yours to kind of purchase and go out the door with.
Right, and so our right now, and again, before my time, we've done a great job of getting our devices, rolled out. Every incoming freshman gets a brand new device, and then that lasts them through their 4-year cycle. So that's kind of our cycle as they go through. So it's ridiculous what it costs the district to try to get rid of them. So we figured, we'll sell them to our seniors who want them, and everybody wins.
See, one question that you and I had talked about the other day, and I think that you sent out an email to the board about the HR position.
Yes, so the HR position, we were able to find a candidate. We interviewed last week, and she is going to be moving here from Nebraska, has an extensive background in HR, and so she's going to be moving here. And the one thing that I had asked the board, and I think I didn't hear back, either heard back that you were fine with it or didn't hear back, is just asking the board once she gets here, we would like to have some crossover time in June, to work with Mary Ann. We're looking at potentially June 14th. So it'd be about 2 full weeks and 3 days. So it'd be about 11 days of crossover, but it would give her a chance to pass on some knowledge on her way out. So we would like to move forward with that once she is here. So we talked to her again today, and she's excited to come on, and going to be putting her house in the market in Nebraska and heading to Arizona pretty quickly.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, Steve, for the board agenda review? Okay, do you want to discuss going on item C?
Sure.
Online credits.
Okay, so online school credits, it is on the agenda for your approval. One of the things we've been talking about for a little while, I've been talking with the building administrators as well as cabinet, is if you now look at our world, our whole world is, has gone digital, and there are so many schools out there now that are accredited, and they're ADE accredited. So they're accredited by the Department of Education in Arizona. They're accredited institutions. For the longest time, not only our district, but a lot of districts have not completely accepted credit from some of these, Primaveras and some of those types of places. They have not accepted it unless students come in and have to take, your CTAN and take a test to prove competency to get credit for that class. But even Primavera now is accredited by ADE. So one of the things I'm going to put on the agenda is to recommend that our district accepts credit from online institutions that are accredited through ADE. Any of our kids who are on our online program, I would hate for them to go elsewhere because their parents had to move or something, and to be denied credit when they're in a district online school. And so most districts have an online school now, and so you're going to see a lot of this. And so, the idea is that we would not deny credit, even core credit, for kids who were in an online school that it was accredited by ADE. But what we still will not allow is dual, you cannot be concurrently enrolled. So you can't be enrolled at one of our schools and be taking a Primavera class simultaneously. That's concurrent enrollment. We will not accept that credit, nor will we allow that, because then we also lose ADM if they're doing that. So just when they're, if they were gone, and then the other thing we're gonna look at with graduation too, is making sure that kids come back right now for at least, that second semester, the last semester of their senior year, and they can't just go to Primavera for their whole career and come back here and take one class and then get our diploma. So we're kind of we're looking into that as well. And so but I don't think the online is gonna go away, and kids in their own districts are gaining credit for graduation. Our kids will get credit for graduation. And so that's the reason that I put it on the agenda to recommend moving into next year as we get ready to update our handbooks, both our faculty and student handbooks.
Yeah, I think, did I send that to you, the article the other day, Washington Post?
Yes, you did.
That online is here to stay.
Well, I think most people feel that way. There are fewer, I think all of us are hoping there are fewer and fewer kids who want to learn that way, because it's still best to be. But we're also anticipating too, and I've heard of this from a lot of people, that we may see a lesser number this next year, but then you may see it increase again moving forward, because kids are gonna, you have to remember, most kids jump that way. They went that way this year out of fear, not because that's what they wanted to look at, thought that was the best modality or anything else. They just went that way out of fear. As we start to move back the other way, we'll see. But there are gonna be those kids that say, you know what, the traditional high school setting, I could care less. I don't want to be on campus. I don't play club. I'm not in a club. I don't play sports. I just want my high school diploma and go to work. And so it may be an avenue that kids for years use to get their education. So.
And one kind of question related to that. Total enrollment for this year, I mean, there was some big articles or discussions about missing kids this year, but they seem to think that high school, that 8th grade and high school seem to maintain decently, but the elementary schools where they had they've got 11 missing kids, is that?
Oh, they're talking about missing kids all over the country, not only the state. If you look at our enrollment, and I send that to you guys every week, if you look at our enrollment, kids who are on the books, we're running actually a little higher right now than we normally have, but we're running right in conjunction where we've been traditionally at this time. So are we getting kids every day in class in front of teachers like we not? Probably not, but they're coming enough to be on our books and to not have been 10 consecutive days or have to be dropped. And so they are coming, and they're still on our books. And so what we're really going to see is, as we get through this enrollment, as we're enrolling for next year, and we really get through that over the next month, I don't think it's going to be a telltale for how many kids re-enroll and where we truly are, and where we are, and where we're going to be right now. But right now, if you look at our numbers, it doesn't appear, that we have a big drop off.
So you're saying that they come enough to be on our books? What constitutes enough?
As long as they don't have 10 consecutive days of absences.
10 consecutive days. Okay.
So if they come for a week and then miss 3 or 4 days and then come back again, and that's we've had some of those patterns of kids that, they just decide, well, I'm not gonna go to school today, and then they come. I think right now, talking, and I could ask Brian's here, Glenda's not here yet, but it's been nice to be on the campuses and see just how many kids are back right now. So there's a lot of kids, and a lot of them are back and excited to be back. So, it's been good. So we're hoping that we're not gonna be impacted by that, and that most of our kids are, even the ones that have maybe kind of faded are coming back to us. So.
Okay. D, facility use.
Yeah, facilities use. So again, a recommendation that I have on the next agenda. We've intentionally not allowed outside groups to use our facilities since this pandemic started. And in protection for our own staff, our own students, for the community at large, we've not allowed it. As we get ready to graduate our kids on May 21st, we're starting to get groups like, crazy. We're getting youth football. We're getting, a bunch of different people who now are asking, can we start using the facilities again? And so, I think, when we allow outside groups to use our facilities, it's good for the community, it's good for our schools, and it's good for our programs. I mean, kids who play youth football on our high school campuses, generally eventually go to our high schools and play, I think. So I would like to recommend to the board that we start to allow the use of our facilities for outside groups, again, following all of our protocols, with safety and cleaning and all that, but allowing outside groups to once again begin to start renting and using our facilities, on May 22nd after graduation is over.
I think Chuck was, I think we both had, probably Joe had been around, but when they sold that school, one of the ideas of that school was it would be a community resource and be able to use and have access to use it and stuff like that for a fee.
Mhm.
But the part of the reason when Cascaran, you remember they fought forever and ever to even build a school out there, and they finally, when they approved it, then it was with the with the auspice or the idea that it could be used by the, or wanted to be used by the community, but for a fee and respecting that the campus.
Yeah, we've got outside groups that want to use the theater. They've got outside groups. Our youth football, all play. Youth football, youth soccer. They've all used our facilities. So anyway, we would like, number one, it's good for the district too. We make a little revenue. It's good for our community. It's good for our schools. So again, the recommendation I'm going to make in the next meeting is that, with the board's approval, that we start to allow outside groups to use our facilities again on May 22nd, starting May 22nd and moving into summer, that we allow that to happen. We can always reevaluate when you guys can reevaluate when the school gets ready to start. If something changes or things start to get worse, we can certainly pull that back as we start to keep kids back ourselves. But there's a lot of groups looking to use those spaces, and it's good for everyone if we allow it. So.
Good, just as you mentioned, facility use now, prom, graduation, etc.
Prom has, this has already had their prom.
Yeah.
And it went well. Cascaran Unions is not this weekend, but the following weekend. And then graduations are the following week. So we're in the countdown, 2 more weeks after this one and we're done. So all is going well. But again, we've been trying to keep, people out of the gyms and off the field and away from them so we can get our kids through the school. Once we're through that, we'd like to start trying to open it back up.
That's center, and then you also, item E is out-of-state and in-state travel. This is related, is a student issue, but it's more so like teacher and continuing education.
Students and staff. So again, with the pandemic and the restricted travel across the United States and everywhere else, I had, as a superintendent, I had just shut down. I had denied any requests to travel out of state during this school year. We just hadn't done it because it's just, smarter just to stay here, get kids back, not do that. However, as we move into the end of May and June, a lot of groups are now starting to host conferences again in person. And we have student groups in June who want to go places and now can go places because it is permissible with parent permission and travel. So again, the recommendation I'm going to make in the next meeting is that we begin again on May 22nd after graduation is over and school is out, that we start to allow out-of-state and in-state travel for both faculty and student groups who follow district protocols and want to travel to other venues and participate in other events. I know FFA has something they're going to. Vista Track wants to go somewhere in June. I know there's conferences this summer that people want to go to. Up in there's a Flagstaff one. ASA is having their conference at the El Conquistador in Tucson again this year. It's going to be an in-person conference again for the first time in a year. So again, people are asking, and and now that the school year is out, I'd like to recommend that we start to allow that to happen again and let people start experiencing some things that are good for kids and good for people as far as their learning goes.
Okay, just on board agenda review, could you go on the agenda just for like clarification for newer members and for some of us? There's a couple of items that are just housekeeping kind of things with the county and different stuff, but there's a couple of the approved work. was trying to remember.
You're talking about the intergovernmental
Yeah,
agreement with
exactly.
Pinal County?
Exactly.
Okay.
Just, and I mean, we have with Kelly and just
Yeah.
some kind of new,
Sure. So with some of these, the item A under 6, the intergovernmental agreement with Pinal County ESA, we are part of that Pinal County group, and so this is an annual, annual approval so that we can be part of that consortium again. So there's all kinds of benefits from it. We use the county for payroll purposes and things like that, so we have some things. We also have, it's been really nice. I've really appreciated being here as a superintendent, the fact that there's a lot of resources out for curriculum and training for teachers and some different things that we take advantage of. So it's just one of those things that we do on an annual basis to keep us as part of that consortium. The superintendent group, we used to get together once a month. We've been doing it once a week since the pandemic. But as we get into summer, they're going to move back to twice a month, and then I think eventually it'll go back to once a month. But again, that's just another consortium. And the same with the data processing service program agreement. It's just our agreement that we've offered to use Pinal County School Superintendent's Office, for those data processing and some of the things that they provide services for our district to allow us to do our business. So
these are ongoing annual things that we've been
Yes.
part of this consortium for, gosh, for forever. I mean, as long as I can, back in the olden days, remember,
yes.
et cetera. And then with, is this the first reading of ASB policy?
It's actually the first and only.
First and
It's gonna
only.
be a,
Yeah, so the ASBA IKFB graduation exercise, that has been, Governor Ducey headed that all up, and there was legislation, they were going through that. And the premise behind it is, my understanding is that there were school districts that were not allowing our Native American students to wear their tribal regalia as part of the graduation exercise. They were being forbidden from doing that. And so there was legislation, and he got behind that to write this policy, and ASBA got behind it to allow them to wear the regalia. It permits them, if the school board adopts it, then it permits them to do it. Now, in our school districts, it's really been a moot point because we've allowed them to wear the regalia for years. But as anything else with ASBA policy, when they ask us to present it to boards and for different boards to approve or accept that policy, we bring it to you as a board to see where you stand behind it. Like I said, in our district, it hasn't been an issue. We've allowed them to wear their regalia, but I think this is an act, for across the state to make sure that that is something that they can do. And it is specific to the Native Americans. It does not open, things up for other groups to do different things unless ASBA gets behind policy for other groups. And I'm not aware of any policy there. It's just for the Native American students and their regalia.
Yeah, reading, it looked fairly, I mean, it was tightly defined as
It's
far as.
very defined just to that group.
I think Governor Lewis from the Gila River specifically went to the Governor Ducey and asked and kind of requested or was carrying the ball for that to get that done, and then Ducey went ahead.
Well, and I understand that, the concern, as a longtime high school principal, holy cow, you deal with all kinds of things of people wanting to wear this or that or this, and things. So, I understand it, but this is the first time, to my knowledge, that ASBA has come out and put policy behind it. So.
Anybody, any other questions or anything else you need to kind of discuss before we move into the next meeting here in about 8 minutes or so?
I have one question.
Sure.
I think I saw an email come across about the use of the Casa Grande Chamber of Commerce. Is that part of the facilities use there?
Yes, so now that's something I've already done ahead of time. So the Chamber of Commerce is actually using our boardroom once a month to do their board meeting. And so they came to us and asked it, Renee came to me and asked, is there a place? They've seen our board meetings and see the ability for us to stream our meetings to those people who can't be here, but also be here. And so using our cameras and working with us, they are now renting our boardroom once a month so they can have their board meetings right here in there. And so then it serves both purposes right now, where they can bring in outsiders who are not, either can't be here or are uncomfortable being here, and it allows the rest of them to be here and to conduct business. So we have allowed them to, you know, starting, they just had their meeting, last week? This is their first
28,
meeting.
yeah.
This is their first meeting. So and they were great, they were in and out, and didn't hardly know they were here, other than the parking lot's another floor while they're here. So,
Are they gonna do their government affairs meeting this way too, or?
no, I haven't heard that yet. I mean, they haven't talked about it. It's still virtual tomorrow morning, so, they haven't talked about moving that one. They have, I shouldn't say that, they've had some conversation, but I think there's enough people in that group that either for their business or whatever else still can't, or still not permitted to be in public meetings and things like that, so I think they're gonna move that one at least virtually for a little while longer. So this is just for that, the chamber to come in here and do their formal board meeting.
Great. Any other questions or anything else?
Yeah.
Then we'll go ahead and adjourn this, this meeting, and then at 6:30, we'll reopen the formal board meeting. All right, thanks.
That's for remember for this one. Just remember for this one. Push your button.
Yeah, I got one. Oh, yeah? Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is 6:30. And Mary, if you would do the roll call, please.
Mr. Wright?
Here.
Mr. Lopez?
Here.
Mr. Hennessy?
Here.
Mrs. Harrington? Here.
We can have everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, just a moment of silence would be a good place. All right. Okay, we'll go ahead down to item 2A, which is to adopt the agenda.
I move we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Mary, you call for the vote.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennessy?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington? Yes.
Item B is we have the minutes from the prior meeting.
I move we adopt the minutes of the prior meetings as presented.
I will second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt the minutes from April 6th and April 8th as presented. Mary, the vote, please.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennessy?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington? Yes.
Dr. Beebe, we have the Student of the Month recognitions.
Hi, President Hennessy, members of the governing board, it's that time, so we'll have, Mr. Knapp, you want to come up and do Tax Grand Union?
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be in front of you, President Hess, members of the Board Superintendent, Dr. Beebe. Today we have with us Janina Goldberry, who's our Student of the Month, and just want to do a little bragging on her. She's in the marching band, has been there for 4 years. She plays the trumpet and really excited about it. She's currently in the National Honor Society, a member of Link Crew, which is an amazing program to really help mentor our freshmen and help support them. This is their first year of implementation. So she's one of our pioneers in that club. She's received an Academic Excellence Award for the last 3 years. And after high school, she plans on going to Central Arizona College and then transfers to Arizona State University. Go Devils. And hopes to study psychology. I don't think she hopes, I think she will. She's a very devoted person and become a school counselor. And I told her that she's going to come back and be our counselor here. So that's our fingers crossed. And maybe even an academic advisor for the university in the future. Try to talk her out of that, keep her at the high school level. We'll see. One of the neat things about her is her heart. She has a desire to help people and the community, and she wants to do that in the communities that she lives in and serves. We'd also like to recognize her parents, Steve and Terry Goldberry. They're here with us tonight. Thank you for sharing your daughter with us. She's amazing. So, Janina, congratulations. Here's your certificate. Well done.
Thank you. And Ms. Cole is not with us tonight. It's senior night for the varsity baseball team, so she's there. And Jeanette Beecham is here as assistant principal to represent Mr. Gunn.
Good evening, President Hens and board members, and thank you, Dr. Beebe. I'm here to present Vista Grande Rotary Student of the Month, Benjamin True. He is unable to be here tonight. He had a work schedule conflict, and so he couldn't make it. His parents are Not True and Kelly Tran. Activities that he did during school, he has been part of student council his 9th grade year and was senator. 10th grade year, he was treasurer, and 11th grade year, he was secretary. He was also part of the robotics club where he was treasurer his 10th grade year. He participated with Key Club where they did some community activities out in the community, and he also organized and volunteered with their blood drive. Some of the activities that he did on the side during the summer is that he was part of a STEP program, and it's Students Expedition Program that prepares students with the knowledge, competence, and leadership skills to successfully transition to college and attain a 4-year degree. He also attended a summer program at Washington University of St. Louis for pre-engineering. He stated that he did some interesting lab experiments and with sensors, and he enjoyed that time. He plans to attend ASU for computational mechanical engineering, and he would like to work at Boeing as a mechanical engineer and work on commercial planes. Congratulations, Benjamin True. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sykes, one last time.
President Hennis, board members, Dr. Beebe. I don't believe that our CP student of the month is here tonight, but I am honored to recognize Delaney Dickey as May's Career and Technical Education Student of the Month. Delaney was nominated by her technical theater teacher, Ms. Sarah Egan at Vista Grande High School, who stated, Delaney is always going above and beyond for our program. She volunteers to do tech whenever there is anything happening in the auditorium. She holds an office in Thespians and Skills USA. She plays a part in every production behind the stage and on stage. She has made many she has made my first year at Vista Grande High School amazing and easy with her knowledge, optimism, and happy spirit. Delaney's parents are Joshua and Tara Dickey. So, Delaney, congratulations.
Yes, I'm going to invite Mary Ann to the podium so we can read the names of the employees of the month for the month of May. So employees of the month, when your name is called, if you'll come here to the table, you'll flag.
Is this Mary Ann's last time too?
Yes, it is.
So, Mr. President, members of the board, I would like to first, before I announce the employees of the month, I'd like to give a shout out, thank you to the Employee Recognition Committee. They've been together for 2 years, making this happen. They are very diligent in not only helping to recruit, but to find our finest and then celebrate them. So with that, I'd like to thank Sharon Lighthouser, Kim Raines, Amanda Sheeler, Vicki Lawton, Zona Campos, Megan Seymour, Melanie Keyser, and Linda Cassidy. With their help, this has worked. Now for the May Employees of the Month, Tracy Hawkins. Ernie Razzo. Kayla Woods. Deborah Hay. Anna Hicks. John Kasner Jr. Lisa Bordenkopf. And Kristen McCallum. Thank
I'm say congratulations, Gail. No calls to the public? Okay. We are down to item 5, superintendent's report.
President Henderson of the governing board, I've got quite a few things to share with you tonight. But first, I too would like to thank Mary Ann for heading up our recognition committee. When we started talking about bringing this back, she did not hesitate to take on the committee and make sure it's happened. She's, I think, single-handedly gets all of the gift cards and everything that goes out every week to make, or every month to make the golden ticket things happen. So I too want to thank her for heading up this and all that she's done the last 2 years to recognize our staff. I'd also like to thank the Big House Cafe for once again agreeing to be our Employee of the Month sponsor and by hosting the Employee of the Month breakfast. So tonight's Employees of the Month will have the opportunity to join me for breakfast at the Big House on Wednesday, May 12th, 7:30. So we look forward to that. I'd also like to say congratulations to our golden ticket winners for the month of May as well. So Cassandra Yo from BG was the grand prize winner. Your friend Rivera from BG was the winner. Aubrey Ferguson was the winner from Casa Grande Union, and Gretchen Plake from Casa Grande Union. So this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. So I would like to publicly thank all of our teachers and teaching support staff for all they do for our district. Tomorrow, we are bringing in lunch from the Creative Cafe for them to show our appreciation. So we hope everybody has a nice lunch. And again, appreciate all that they do for the students and families in our district. I had a lot of things. Casa Grande Union unveiled their completed Be Kind mural last month. So when you get on campus, you'll have to check it out. It's a pretty neat thing, and just, it's a nice effort and part of the PBIS, some of the efforts they're doing with climate and culture on the campus, so you have to check that out. Last month, Mrs. Quiones, principal of McCartney Ranch Elementary, and Dr. Gonzalez visited Mike Wagner's construction class and presented him with a certificate of appreciation for the work that Mike and his students did on their outdoor learning space. They went to McCartney Ranch and they created the space that they now use for outdoor learning, which was nice for our kids to get back. It was nice to be there for them to come and honor him. I'd like to say congratulations to Casa Grande Union's Merlin D'Souza, who received the Jack Kent Cook Foundation Scholarship. She was chosen from a pool of 5,800 applicants and was one of 2 from Arizona. So another feather in her cap, for the awards that she has won. Congratulations to Casa Grande Union's indoor percussion member Haley Mills, who was awarded the WGAZ $1,000 scholarship. This is the 4th year in a row that a member of the Pride of Casa Grande has won this award. And then I want to say congratulations to Mr. Farnsworth and his students. They've now completed their classroom storefront, the Cougar Country Store, to support the FFA program in Arizona agriculture. So again, if you have to get by and see it, if you're buying products and goods for them, they now have a storefront for their students to work out of. Last month was Administrative Professionals Day, so I'd like to again publicly thank all of our outstanding professional administrators in our district for their dedication and work for our district. Congratulations to Jennifer Corson's freshman success classes. They conducted mock interviews and created job applications and resumes to gain real-world experience. So she shared some of that with me. Congratulations to the Vista Grande and Casa Grande Union Key Club members who participated in the Kiwanis Club Appreciation Bowling event last month. There was about 30 kids who came out, and it's always a good time for them. Congratulations to the Casa Grande Union Dance Company, who won awards at the Kids Artistic Rugby Dance Competition. They won 2 High Point Awards and Elite Top First Placements, and the Diva Lukosius Judges Award, and an All-Star Dance Award. And so they were invited to New York next fall to participate in the Rocket Experience based on that competition. Congratulations to the 13 CG Union Dance Company dancers who also received the $500 scholarship towards the Hollywood Dance Experience. So again, they're having quite the success this year. Last month, the JRTC cadets hosted the Marines, who hosted a fitness challenge to students and cadets on school campus. So they had a semi and Hummer, and they put kids up to the test to see who would take them up on their fitness challenge. On April 30th, Vista Grande hosted their Glee Night, and the students were all taught by CT and Fine Arts teacher Sarah Reagan. And congratulations to the juniors and seniors who had their prom from Vista Grande Saturday, May 1st. Even in light of this pandemic, prom went on. And so it's nice to see that. Casa Grande Unions is coming up in 2 weeks. And then congratulations to the Vista Grande varsity baseball and softball teams who both qualified for the state tournaments. The softball team will host a first round game on Saturday at 10:05. And the baseball team will also host a first round game on Saturday at 11 a.m. The girls softball team is 10-0 in the regular season, and I think they've lost once this entire year, so it ought to be interesting for them. So that concludes my report.
That sounds great. Boys tennis was from Cascade High School. Was there also?
Boys tennis from Cascade High School also made it to the singles and doubles and had quite the run, quarterfinals, correct? Got to the quarterfinals.
Sounds good. Okay, we are down to item 6, and first we're going to go on agreement with Allen County ESA. Just for clarification, this is an annual, this is homecoming, or this kind of house cleaning kind of stuff like that we do on an annual basis to our agreements with the county, so.
That is correct. President Hens, members of the board, items A, B, and C are annual, are annually done and been approved by the board as we work with the county and our businesses.
Okay, get a motion for item A, the intergovernmental agreement, ESA with the county.
Make a motion, we accept fiscal year 21-22 PCES consortium IGA.
There's a motion and a second. Mary, would you call the vote, please?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
Ms. Harrington?
Yes.
Item B is another continuing intergovernmental agreement with the county for data process.
Program agreement with district and Powell County School Superintendent's Office as presented.
Have a motion by Kelly, or a second? I have a second as well. Joe, second. Mary, for the vote, please.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
And Ms. Harrington?
Yes.
And then item C is a combined resolution for the Powell County Treasurer for transactions.
I will make a motion to approve the combined resolution affecting county treasurer's transactions for fiscal year 2021 and 22 as presented.
Second. And a second by Chuck. Call for the vote, please.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
And Ms. Harrington?
Yes.
We are down to item D, revised budget. Do you want to discuss this one?
Yes, this is every year at this time, we have to reconcile our budget and realign things, and so it's just a revision to this point in time.
All right. Are there any other questions on that? Is there a motion?
I move.
I will second.
There's a motion by Chuck and a second by Joe. Any other discussion? Mary, for the vote, please.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
And Ms. Harrington?
Yes.
Item E is the Asb Policy IKFD, the graduation exercise. This is, was just recently signed by the governor.
Correct, this was signed by the governor and then adopted, ASBA has adopted policy, and it is specific to our Native American students in all school districts that permits them to wear their tribal regalia at graduation.
This is first reading and only reading, correct?
First and only.
I'll make a motion to adopt the ASBA board policy on graduation exercises.
There's a motion by Kelly and a second by Joe. Mary, vote please.
Mr.
Yeah,
Wright?
I've got some discussion
Okay,
on
sorry,
this.
discussion, go ahead.
I got a couple of issues with this policy. Number one, in the first paragraph, it says, it is an emergency measure that is necessary to preserve the public peace, health and safety, and is operating immediately after the law. I don't see how this is an emergency measure. What threat to public peace and health and safety there is for this policy. The second thing, although I'm not against, and don't take it that I'm against Native Americans, because I do respect their tribal what I want to say, their condition. But I see this as granting a privilege to one group of students and not granting the same privilege to the rest of the senior student body that they may wish to do that. I know over the years, we and several other high schools publicly they've had some issues with kids wanting to wear other things besides just the standard cap and gown. I know we allow our mortarboards to be decorated, and there are some minimal robes and necklaces that for military and National Honor Society that the students can wear. But basically, we've kept the caps and gowns pretty standard to keep it normal. I think this policy kind of stirs the pot there a little bit, and I think it would be better written if the policy would include the Native American regalia and also include other students' wishes too, as far as religious regalia of other churches. I don't know of any churches that want that, but say if somebody does and they come back and say, well, how come the Native Americans get to wear their religious regalia and we don't? So I think the policy is somewhat discriminatory on that point. I think it would be better written if it included the whole student body, or left it up to the individual school districts and the site principals to make that determination.
That's all fair. Well, I think that's to try and write something specifically that would encompass every person aspect of as next to impossible. And this is specifically was something that the governor did, and then they were bringing it on, recognizing specifically since our district has a significant amount and have a direct relationship with the Native American Gila River tribe, just right next to the Archin tribe down here, and the other ones, and that they brought this, the governor brought it and it was passed. He signed this bill into effect here not too long ago, just the other day, and then I think
last month,
and I think all ASBA is doing is just kind of basically presenting and hearing to that. So I don't have a problem. I think if any other group wants to approach the governor, or if they have to, I don't think folks can National Honor Society, military, etc. They're recognized with certain band or certain ribbons, etc. that they wear, etc. And I think that where we allow the kids to do their mortarboard, I think is to a certain degree. I think is a way of self-expression. So I personally don't have a problem with this. I think this is great for recognizing our neighborhood community.
I understand that we've always allowed it anyway, right? We're just kind of going along with what ASBA is recommending. Right?
yeah, correct. And again, and the regalia that they wear is not over the top. It's not, it's their sashes. And one of the neatest things I've ever experienced was my first year when I got to be part of the powwow and actually hand out and give out feathers to the students. It's a neat ceremony. So, but yeah, right now, as far as graduation, what can't be worn, we regulate that through the handbook and the school administrators. What is permissible.
I always remember one of the, in graduation, was one of the very cool things was when the reverend gentleman would come and do the blessing, and with the smoke and with the incense and do the blessing. But I thought it was just tremendous to have some kind of continuity and heritage associated with this. That it was just very cool. So, are there any other questions?
No, I was just listening to Mr. Chuck here. I think we need to be careful when we're talking on religion, because this is a cultural traditional thing. I don't see interesting because like you said, you open the door to all other kinds of religious factions. And then pretty soon you have this reason why they're saying public peace, health, and safety. So that's just my 2 cents. It's a positive thing for the community.
Okay, any other discussion? We'll go ahead and call for the vote. Mary, if you would, please.
Mr. Wright?
No.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Menace?
Yes.
Ms. Harrington?
Yes.
Thank you, that passes. Item off F, the online institution credit acceptance.
As president and as members of the governing board, I think the time is here, and as I've worked with the administration, I've worked with cabinet over the last few months, the reality is that online education is here and it's going to be here to stay for quite some time. Many of our students have chosen to learn online and are receiving district credit, and including core classes. And so at this time, the administration would recommend that the district, beginning with school year 21-22, the district accept credits from all Arizona Department of Education accredited online institutions as our own, and kids that can earn even core credit for those classes as long as it comes from an accredited, an ADE accredited institution.
You, and just to clarify, the one thing that you did mention was they cannot be concurrently taking class here and there, et cetera.
Correct. So they cannot, a student cannot be concurrently enrolled. So, and again, I'm not trying to pick on Primavera, but that's the one that comes to mind. If a student is enrolled at one of our schools full-time, they can't be enrolled in an online institution simultaneously. If they were to do that, then we would not accept that credit. They can't be concurrently enrolled.
Any other questions? Get a motion to approve.
So move.
There's a motion by Chuck and a second by Joe. Call for vote, please.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
Ms. Harrington?
Yes.
Item G is facility use. Just to kind of, give some background on how things are kind of slowly opening up. You've got some requests to kind of have access to the campuses again.
Correct. President Harris, members of the governing board, as this pandemic hit us last March, we pretty much shut our campuses down and have had limited access to our campuses at all, except for our own staff and students. We've done that for their safety and well-being. And as we're getting through the end of the year and now have kids back, we're looking forward to the next 3 weeks and having graduations, so still being protected. At the same time, there are a number of outside groups from youth football to soccer and other sports who've always used our facilities. And those kids are looking to get back to some of the things they used to do and are looking for facilities. So as we're starting to have people knock on our door again and want to open our facilities, administration would recommend that as of Saturday, May 22nd, post-graduation, that we once again start to allow outside groups to utilize our facilities, following district policy and with fees, the necessary fees. But then we start to allow them to use those facilities again. It's using it, it's good for the schools, it's good for the community, it's good for kids. So we'd like to let them start coming back.
And I think part of when the main campus was specifically built in disagreeing, with the library in front, and then the main campus when it was originally, to get past, that it was essentially the idea was to have it community accessible. And so I think we tried to keep that up in this past year. So we get a motion to approve facility use as we're saying.
I'll make a motion to approve the administrator's recommendation to resume outside group usage of the discussed facility beginning May 22nd.
Second.
A motion by Kelly and a second by Chuck. Mary, call for vote, please.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
And Ms. Harrington?
Yes.
We're down to H, which is in-state and out-of-state travel, with things starting to open up and getting requests for people to go wander.
Yes, again, as we're starting to loosen up and again, things are improving, many conferences that have been virtual are going back to in-person. We have student groups who will have the opportunity to travel again this summer and would like to travel again this summer with permission and with it being permissible now to travel. So again, post-graduation on the 21st, so Administration would recommend that we resume allowing employees and students groups in-state and out-of-state travel beginning May 22nd, 2021.
Is there a motion to that effect?
I will make a motion to approve the administration's recommendation to resume employee and student in-state and also out-of-state travel beginning May 22nd, 2020.
There's a motion by Joe and a second by Kelly. Any other questions on that? If not, call for the vote, Mary, please.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
And Ms. Carrington?
Yes.
Item 7 is discussion item, but I think the only thing that we have to discuss, before we meet Thursday night, in executive session to start the interim superintendent review. Unfortunately, a pretty decent amount of people are not doing the job. So we will be beginning work on that on Thursday night. Now, to item number 8, with this, the consent agenda. Is there anything anybody wants to pose or question?
I'd just like to add, on personnel, I wish, those that turned in their resignations, we're glad you could serve us. And, good luck on your next assignment, wherever you're going. Sad to see some of them going, but they've been here for a long time, and, they will be missed.
Truly. We've been very fortunate with the staff. I think we're losing Mary Ann and Steve. And then resignations here with folks there that were nominated. If not, then we'll go ahead and take a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I move we approve consent agenda A through E without any removal.
Second.
So a motion by Chuck and a second by Kelly. Any other questions about Mary? We'll call for the vote, please.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
And Ms. Carrington? Yes.
With no further business to come before the board, if we get a motion to adjourn, please.
I make a motion.
All in favor?
Motion by Mary says, I'm out the door. One of us is going to be in Wisconsin in the next 24 hours. Thank you for being here tonight.